Hello and welcome to the session on fundamentals of communication. Education is all about communication. One of the most important forms of communication is that which takes place in a classroom. In a classroom, educators are essentially engaged in communication as they teach. Teaching and learning represent the two sides of a single coin. The importance of communication in the classroom is a key part of education. When a teacher communicates effectively with their students, many different things can happen. The same is when the students communicate with the teacher. The better the communication in a teaching environment will strengthen the learning process. Competence in oral communication, that is in speaking and listening, is prerequisite to students' academic, personal and professional success in life. Good communication can make a class a great place to learn. The better the communication is in a teaching environment, the more enhanced the learning will be. The importance of classroom communication and interaction is well explained in the next chapter. But before understanding the importance of classroom communication and the role of teachers and students in a classroom, it is necessary to know the fundamentals of communication and its basic forms. Communication regulates and shapes all human behavior. It is a mechanism through which human relationships exist and develop. Communication is a skill that humans typically learn, develop and use unconsciously to make their thoughts into messages so that other people can understand. The messages take different forms like gestures, behavior, signals, facial expression, noises, spoken words, etc. The word communication is derived from the Latin word communis or communicare, which means to make common, to impart or share. Communication is the process of exchanging messages or information between two or more parties. The process of communication includes transmission of information, ideas, emotions, skills and knowledge. This information can be passed to another person using symbols, signs, words, pictures, figures, graphs or illustrations. Everything we do throughout each day involves communication in one form or another. Basic forms of communication. Commonly, communication is divided into verbal communication and non-verbal communication. These basic forms of communication are also known as methods, channels or medium of communication. Many complex ideas, thoughts or messages have to be communicated sequentially to be meaningful. Verbal communication. Verbal communication can be divided into two forms, oral and written communication. Oral means anything pertaining to mouth. Oral communication uses spoken words in the communication process to communicate a message. It involves the arrangement of words in a structured and meaningful manner, adhering to the rules of grammar. In the oral communication, the sender and the receiver exchange ideas through speech, either face to face or through some mechanical or electrical device. Oral communication is influenced by voice modulation, pitch, volume and even the speed and clarity of speaking. Verbal communication is applicable to a wide range of situations ranging from formal talks, informal office discussions to public speeches. It is the most effective form of communication in a classroom. Teachers and students in a classroom mostly use verbal communications to express their views and ideas. Verbal communication has the ability to confuse, clarify, encourage, instruct and teach. Earlier, teachers talked for most of the time and students used to listen. Over time, educators realized that students had to use the language if they were to become better educated. There are many advantages of oral communications. Some of them are the following. Quickness. Ideas can be conveyed very quickly through oral communication. Flexibility. Oral communication has an element of flexibility. Flexibility means changing ideas according to the situation. In oral communication, ideas can be changed according to the interests of the receiver or the listener. Quick feedback. A response during an oral communication can help to understand the extent to which the receiver has understood the message through his feelings during the course of the conversation. Effective source. Oral communication leaves much impression on the receiver. Increase in efficiency. Oral communication is that form of communication that consumes less time and energy. Economic source. Oral communications are economical because the message is communicated only orally and less misunderstood. In oral communication, clarification or doubt can be removed instantly. Written communication is used for communicating complicated information. It allows information to be recorded so that it can be referred to at a later date. Written communication must be clear and concise in order to communicate information effectively. The effectiveness of written communication depends on the style of writing, vocabulary used, grammar, clarity and precision of language. With the advancement of technology, the scope of written communication has widened. There are many advantages of using written communication. Written communication is suitable for lengthy messages. Written communication is the best with regard to some special facts that require future reference. Written communication has no open conversation with another person or a group, hence it saves time. Moreover, for a written conversation, presence of two parties is not required. Non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is a primitive form of communication that does not involve the use of words. It is the most basic form of communication, that is communication without words. It is less structured compared to verbal communication. Non-verbal communication includes body language or overall body movement, gestures, cues, vocal qualities, facial expressions, spatial relationships and even posture. Non-verbal communication sets the tone of a conversation. It can seriously undermine the message contained in your words. It is commonly used to express emotions like respect, love, dislike, unpleasantness, etc., and is considered more reliable than verbal communication as it reflects the communicator's true feelings. Non-verbal communication is more efficient from both senders and receivers standpoint. Non-verbal communication is also a critical aspect of interpersonal communication in the classroom. The most credible messages teachers generate as communication sources are non-verbal. Many of the cues students use to make judgments about teachers' competence or characters are obtained by observing the teacher's non-verbal behavior. There are limitations in using non-verbal communication. It is useful for passing only small pieces of information. They can be misunderstood and is quite difficult to study. The following are the main functions of non-verbal communication: to provide information either consciously or unconsciously, to express emotions, to complement verbal communication, to control others, to influence others and to simplify specific tasks. Communication cycle. In order to make interactions effective and reduce the chances of misunderstanding, we need to analyze the cycle of communication. If we understand the importance of the cycle of communication and filter our communication to make it healthy, we can transform ourselves and our environment by changing the way we communicate with others and ourselves. The communication cycle is a basic process for interacting and defines the goal of transmission of message, which is to exchange ideas. It is a dynamic process involving a series of actions and reactions with a view to achieve a goal. Components of communication process. Communication is effective only when a concise and clear message is delivered to the listener and understood fully. The best way to understand the communication process is to study it as a system. A system is an entity which is composed of interdependent parts working together to achieve an intended goal. The process of communication has the following components. Idea. Idea is the simplification and abstraction of reality filtered through the individual mind. Every message, whether written or oral, that is to be conveyed to another person begins with an idea. The stimulus that interests and possesses a communicator's attention becomes an idea. However, many complex factors influence the formation of an idea. For example, the mood of the individual, his ideas, attitudes, values, norms and practices. Sender. The person who sends the idea or message is known as the sender. The person or persons involved in the communication process, who is otherwise called the communicator, is the message source. The sender of a message can be any individual. The process of communication begins when an idea occurs in the mind of the sender which he wants to convey to another person to achieve some objective. The sender may be an individual or a group. The communicator intentionally forms a purposeful message and attempt to express it to others either through verbal or non-verbal signs. He may use both words as well as gestures to put his message across. However, the success of an effective communication depends on the sender's ability to accurately predict how the idea will impact the receiver and what kind of skills would be necessary to create a positive impact. Message. Communication takes place through sending and receiving of messages. The message has a content which is conveyed during the communication process. The content may be in the form of ideas, facts, thoughts or feelings expressed by the participants. Because some messages are difficult to convey, some people use signs and codes to formulate them. It would not be possible in some occasions to convey the ideas and feelings if you did not have signs to represent them. Messages have a meaning that must be understood and interpreted. Some messages have a clear and obvious content and some others are hidden and not so obvious. The process of communication involves sending and receiving signs which have meanings attached to them. Encoding. Encoding is the process of taking ideas in the mind and transforming them into verbal and non-verbal signs so that they can be transmitted as messages to someone. The conversion of ideas into messages connects the sender to the receiver. Medium and channel. After the message has been encoded by the communicator, it has to travel to the recipient. The medium and channel are both links between the sender and the receiver. The medium is the physical means by which messages are transmitted between people in the communication process. Some of the examples of medium are the voice, body movements, newspapers, books, photographs, electronic means of communication such as telephone, radio, loudspeaker, television, etc. When there is use of more than one medium to encode the message by the sender, it increases the redundancy and to a certain extent accuracy of the message. The channel is the route by which the messages travel. It is the vehicle that carries the message to the receiver. The channel has very little to do with the meaning of the message. It is important for the sender to know the suitable channel for the kind of message that has to be transmitted. The choice of the channel depends on the purpose of communication, the sender's needs and profile of the receiver. Receiver. The receiver or the recipient does not merely receive the messages expressed by the sender or the communicator. Like the sender, the receiver too has personal filters. The message passes through the personal filters of values, beliefs, attitudes, feelings and opinions. The receiver is the active participant in the communication process. He should intentionally and consciously pay attention to the message in order to understand and interpret it. The element of perception plays a major role in the receiver's acceptance or rejection of the message. The success and failure of the message depends on how the receiver conceives it. Good listening skills, ability to read between the lines and ability to interpret a hidden message are expected of a competent receiver. Hence, it is aptly said that communication is message perceived and not message sent. Decoding. Decoding is the process of taking the verbal and non-verbal messages that one receives from others and giving them meaning. It is process of translating words, signs, symbols and meanings. Successful decoding is correct understanding of the intent of the message as transmitted by the sender. Feedback. During the communication process, the participants continuously send messages or feedback to each other. Feedback is the response of the participants, either sender and receiver, to each other. It is the receiver's response to the sender's message. It is the means whereby the participants negotiate ideas and exchange meanings. Feedback is an important factor in the communication process because it helps the sender to know whether the message has been understood by the receiver or not. Feedback gives the communication process a dynamic nature by making it an interactive process rather than a linear one. Thus, communication process happens through the following elements and activities. The sender has an idea, the sender encodes the idea into a message, the message travels through a channel, noise in the transmission process, the receiver gets the message, the receiver decodes the message, the receiver provides the feedback, the frame of reference of the sender and the receiver and the context of the receiver. Types of communication. There are different types of communication. They are personal or intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, mass communication, public communication, transformational communication, group communication, etc. Personal or intrapersonal communication. Intrapersonal communication is the most basic form of communication. This form of communication is extremely private and restricted to oneself. During a personal communication, one thinks and introspects. A personal communication usually includes silent conversation wherein the person itself becomes the sender and the receiver who processes his thoughts and ideas. According to Carl Rogers, if an individual does not practice intrapersonal communication, he is likely to lose touch with himself and can thus suffer from mental agony. So, intrapersonal communication can help an individual to shape self-concept and develop one's convictions. It also helps to think, plan, analyze and interpret messages and ideas. Interpersonal communication. The form of communication that takes place between two people, that is face to face or one on one. Communication that occurs between two people is called interpersonal communication. This usually will be a dialogue or conversation between two or more people. Here, the two individuals swap their roles as senders and receivers in order to communicate effectively. The possibility of exchange of views and opinions on the spot makes this type of communication very valuable. Interpersonal communication is the primary form of human communication. In the beginning, interpersonal communication was not verbal, although oral sounds were a part of it. Mass communication. Mass communication is generally identified with tools of modern mass media, which includes press, books, cinema, television, radio, etc. This type of communication is used to convey messages to an entire population. Public communication. This type of communication takes place when one individual addresses a large gathering of people. Campaigns for election and public speeches are a few examples. Public communication usually has only a single sender and several receivers. Transformational communication. Transformational communication goes beyond interpersonal communication. It is also known as supportive communication. It originates from the sender. The sender conscientiously builds a larger frame of reference for a healthy understanding to develop. Counselors, teachers and human resource managers practice this type of communication by listening to the grievances of the person sitting opposite to him and seek solutions for them. Group communication. Group communication can take place only when there are more than 2 people involved. This type of communication is generally used to share information, develop ideas, solve problems and make decisions with a limited number of others. Press conferences, board meetings and team meetings are examples of group communication. Importance of communication. Communication skills are the set of skills that enables a person to convey information so that it is received and understood. The fundamentals of communication are a set of basic communication skills that form the foundations of more advanced communication skills, including speech. If these fundamentals are missing, it is unlikely that more advanced communication can develop. Communication in its simplest sense is a human relationship involving 2 or more persons who come together to share an idea, to commune or just to be together. Communication, though is a complex two-way process, is crucial for the success of any individual. It is the mechanism through which human relations exist and develop. In this era of globalization, knowledge management and corporate governance, the prime factor that concerns the most is the ability to communicate effectively. Effective communication plays a key role in fulfilling the needs of day-to-day life. Thus, it is a part of basic necessities that one needs to be equipped with habits for good communication skills. Today, effective communication skills have become a predominant factor even while recruiting employees. Barriers to communication. Communication barriers interfere with sending and receiving messages in a communication process. Barriers can result in miscommunication which can have serious consequences. This can be categorized into problems caused by the sender, problems in message transmission, problems in reception and problems in receiver comprehension. Semantic or language barriers. Semantic barriers are those related to language. Because of obscurity of language, there is possibility of wrong interpretation of messages. This barrier is created because of wrong choice of words, sentences, etc. Organizational barriers. Organizational structure greatly affects the capacity of the employees in an organization as far as communication is concerned. Some organizational policies and rules, organizational level or categories, complexity in organization structure and the various facilities provided in an organization may affect communication process between the employees at different levels. Personal barriers. There are some barriers which are directly connected with the sender and the receiver. Such barriers are called personal barriers in communication process. Emotional or perceptual barriers. The importance of communication depends on the mental condition of both the sender and the receiver. A mentally and emotionally disturbed person can be a hindrance in communication. Physical barriers. Physical barriers are those caused due to the faulty physical condition. These barriers cause a lot of noise. These include insufficient insulated rooms, noises from outside, poor lighting, body postures, etc. Effective communication requires the communicator to translate their messages in a way that is specifically designed for their intended audience. So, communication process should be made effective from the time you start your basic education, that is from your classroom itself. Classroom communication is a two-way process between the participants in the learning process. Here, the teacher influences the learner and vice versa. There are many different components to classroom communication. Classroom interaction uses verbal, non-verbal and other types of interactions like lecturing, discussions, etc. The role played by teachers and students in a classroom interaction is also equally important. This would be in detail discussed in the next chapter. Now, you can try to answer the questions given here. What is the meaning of communication and why it is important? Explain the different types of communication. Which are the different components of communication process? Write briefly on the basic forms of communication. How does communication become important in human lives? What are the different barriers in communication? Hope that you may go through these books for reference. In Introduction to Communication Studies, written by Steinberg S. and published by Jutta and Company, Africa in the year 2007. Communication Skills, written by Sen L. and published by Prentice Hall of India Private Limited, New Delhi in 2008. Communication and Introduction, written by Rosengren K.E., published by Beadles Limited, Norfolk in 2006. Communication Skills and Functional Grammar, written by Gupta S. and published by University Science Press, New Delhi in 2008. Thank you for watching this program. We can meet again with another topic. Have a nice day.